What's up, guys? Me here again today with a follow-up video, basically continuing my series that I started about a year ago and only put one video in, but whatever. Um, Today I'm going to talk about the Impact Wrestling faction known as the Aces and Eights. There's not really too much I'm going to cover because, well, we already kind of know what happened, and you could look it up on Wikipedia or anything else to see what exactly happened. But I'm going to talk about the alleged, I shouldn't say for sure, but this is what was believed to be the initial members of the group when Aces and Eights first started out. Now, to give it a little bit of context, if you don't know or if you just need a little bit of a refresher, the Aces and Eights was basically a biker gang that was all, they were hooded, and you couldn't really tell, well, you couldn't tell who anybody was, and they changed people out from week to week to keep people guessing, to make it really hard to know who was in the group and who wasn't in the group, because some large guys are pretty easy to figure out and spot a mile off. um, so initially, there were these group of guys who came in and just beat the crap out of everybody else in the ring and everybody else in general. And, it was this invasion-esque storyline. And I liked it. I thought it was going to go somewhere really good. But it fell pretty quickly. And eventually it pretty much just became a chariot, I guess you could say, to get Bubba Ray Dudley into being a heel, or I guess I should say Brother Ray into a heel and become Bully Ray. So, I mean, that was okay. I didn't mind Bully Ray. I kind of liked the concept. I didn't like it at first, but I liked it pretty much after the first week or two of that gimmick. I was really digging it. So initially, Bully Ray wasn't going to be in it. Neither was Devon. Neither was really a lot of the guys. Um, Now, I'm going to say the reason why I think, personally, I believe that Devon was put into the group initially, or was revealed as a member of the group, I should say, was because, if memory serves, that was in October of 2012. And at that point, I believe his contract had expired or was set to expire or something like that. And he had posted something on Twitter about WWE or Raw or something to that extent. And he was wearing a WWE shirt. And people just went speculative, went crazy, going, "Oh my God, Devon's going back to WWE." And for some reason, people would also have thought that that also means that uh, Bubba Ray Dudley was also going, because I guess in people's mind, both Bubba Ray and Devon would have signed a contract that ends at the same time and date, and I don't know. People were just grasping for straws. So Devon was revealed as the first member of the group, and realistically, the whole reason why that was just as a aha, screw you to the fans, right? To the marks. The thing is, people thought that Devon was going to be a part of WWE again, as well as Bubba Ray. So if we reveal Devon as being one of the people that are in the group, then that kind of proves that, well, people were wrong, they guessed wrong, and it's really Devon was in this group the entire time, which I should say allegedly, according to original plans that I know of, that wasn't really going to be the member of the group. He wasn't going to be one of the members at all. Neither was Bubba Ray, as far as I'm aware. There were 5 members initially that were supposed to be in the group, and then just a bunch of lackeys. Give me one sec. I have my computer up in front of me here, just because I always seem to forget these in order. So the first person that was going to be, and was going to, I shouldn't say the first person revealed, because I think he would have been the last person revealed. My guess, I don't know. But apparently it was going to be John Hennigan, or known as, John Morrison. Oh, slipped my mind for a second. He eventually did come into Impact Wrestling, known as Johnny Impact, but the belief was he was going to be the leader of this group. Um, and after him, the second high toting member of the group was believed to be Cliff Compton. And if you don't remember him, or if that name sounds a little familiar but can't quite put your finger on it, that was the whole Deuce and Domino thing in WWE, that short run thing, back a few years prior to the Aces and Eights in WWE. So you would have Johnny Impact, who would be the leader. Then you'd have Cliff Compton, who was going to be nicknamed the Rising Star. So he was going to be My guess is he was going to be more or less used or the group was going to be used as a way to kind of catapult him up into a main event level. And he would have been alongside, Johnny Impact as the top guy, but it was going to be kind of a boat to kind of help push him a little bit more as well. Why the two of them didn't actually get into the group, I believe, from my understanding, Impact Wrestling just had this idea and they started going on it before they actually had anybody signed. There was apparently talks and discussions with both gentlemen around that time, but I don't really know what had happened, but that was the belief. And we kind of saw that a few years prior, or a couple years prior, even with Fortune and Main Event Mafia, where they were going to bring back the Main Event Mafia, and they already started the angle without actually having everybody signed. So that was kind of interesting. So then those were the first two members. The other two members that were believed to be, at least on paper, was going to be Nux, who was known as Mike Knox, who did wind up being in the group, and the other one was going to be Doc, or Doc Gallows, Luke Gallows, whatever you want to call him as. And they were probably going to be the first two individuals revealed, and the two of them were going to be a tag team together. So you'd have Doc Gallows and or I guess he would have just been known as Doc at the time, but you would have had Doc and Nux being together as a tag team. So there's your third and your fourth guy. Your fifth guy was actually going to be a guy now known as Chris Adonis. He was known beforehand as Chris Masters in WWE, and there was on again and off again talks with him being in Impact Wrestling for a while, and actually I think it was 2012 as well, somewhere in that range, that James Storm made a comeback at SummerSlam, and he faced off against Crimson, and he beat Crimson's undefeated streak. Initially, apparently right up until that day, it was actually going to be Chris Adonis that was going to come in and defeat that streak, but for whatever reason that didn't happen. So those were going to be the first, maybe, I don't even know only, but the first 5 members of the group. There had been belief that, okay, if they weren't able to get Johnny Impact and Cliff Compton, that apparently Magnus was going to be one of the members. That was kind of the other iteration, and I don't know how accurate that is, but that was the second implementation that I had read from online sources that stated that, okay, if we can't get Johnny Impact, we're going to get Magnus, and if we can't get Cliff Compton, we're going to actually use Joey Ryan, who at the time was just coming into Impact Wrestling. He was known as Joey Hollywood when he was wrestling in Ring Ka King in India. So I don't know what name he would have went with there, but there was believed that, okay, if we can't get Compton and Impact, then we are going to use Magnus and Hollywood, which I don't know how well that would have worked. I think the original group written on paper that I just talked about, Johnny Impact, Cliff Compton, Nux, Doc, and Adonis, I think that would have been a great group of 5 guys, and I think that's what initially was supposed to happen. At least allegedly that was what was supposed to happen, and I think that was probably the best way they could have done it. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of go down this memory lane about Aces and Eights. Tell me, what did you guys think about Aces and Eights? Did you like the team? Did you not like them? Did you think it was kind of hot-shotted? Do you think it was all over the place? Personally, I think that after they revealed Devon, I don't think they had really much of a plan for it until they were like, okay, we're going to make this about Bully Ray and getting him into heel and all that. And even then, it wasn't really anything other than Bully Ray in that group. But anyways, what do you guys think?